Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday, Vacation Bible School week, and today we actually have 3 experiments, and they're all about rainbows. I believe on the directions, they're in a different order than I'm going to do it in because the one takes a little bit longer. So I thought that that's the one I would start with and show you a couple of the others. So the first one is called a rainbow walk, and let me just show you real quick. I have 6 glasses in a circle, and in 3 of the glasses there are water. And in the water, I have put food coloring. The other 3 glasses are completely empty. Okay, very important. Now, when you have your 6 cups ready, you want the food coloring cups filled pretty close to the top because we are going to be putting paper towels between the blue color and into a clear container. And what the paper towels are going to do is hopefully suck up some of that water and drop it into the empty cup. So typically, let me just show you again. If you mix red and blue, what color do you think it would make? Think for a second. And then if you put blue with yellow, what color should it make? And then the same thing with yellow and red. If you mix them together, it's going to make a very different color. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our paper towels ready. I would take one paper towel long ways and fold it in half. Fold it in half again. And this is going to allow it to really soak up some of that water. It doesn't matter if the water is hot or if the water is cold. It just needs to be able to suck the water up and drip it into the other cup. And it doesn't drip very fast, which is why I'm kind of doing it first. So hopefully by the time I'm done with the other experiments, we can see what is going on. So I'm going to turn my computer and I'm going to put my first little strip into the red. And I'm going to kind of bend it because I really want it to start soaking up the water, which you can start seeing this red soak up right here. And it eventually will start dripping into the next container. So then I have my next paper towel. This is the part that I cut from this one. It's in half. I'm going to stick it into the empty container and the blue container. Okay? And this is going to give us the color of what blue and red make. If you don't know, it's going to be a surprise for you. And I'm going to have to do this again with another paper towel. I'm going to go longwise and fold in half. Fold in half again. And then cut. Now I have 2 more pieces I can put in. I can go from my blue to the empty cup, and you saw how quick that was able to start coming up the paper towel. I'm going to go from the empty cup to my yellow. And I really want to make sure that both sides are pretty much down as far as they can go because I want them to drip. And I need another paper towel. Again, I'm going to fold it long ways, once. Fold it long ways, twice. And cut it in half. I'm going to go from yellow to the empty cup. And my last one that I have, I'm going to go from the empty cup to the red. And this is going to be what we call a color walk. So eventually, In these clear glasses, we're gonna have red dripping into blue, should make a new color. We're gonna have blue and yellow dripping to make a new color. Yellow and red dripping to make another color. And I'm gonna do an overhead view. Right now, there's very little dripping happening, but it will eventually get there. So that experiment is going to take a little bit of time. So while it is working, I thought we could do a couple other science experiments. So the next science experiment I have is a Skittle one. I believe that the Skittles have been provided for you. And what you need to do with these Skittles is put them on a plate or in a bowl and make a pattern out of them. So the pattern we made at my house is like the pattern of the rainbow. We have red, orange, yellow, green, purple. Red, orange, yellow, green, purple. If you don't have as many Skittles as I do, you can make your circle shorter and that's fine. But there's some really cool things that are going to happen with this. So once you decide what your pattern is going to be, you get them all lined up, and then we are going to be putting in some warm water. Warm water is the key here, okay? Warm water helps things spread a little bit faster. So I'm going to pour warm water in the center of my bowl, and eventually, because once the water starts hitting these Skittles, it's going to spread out and make a rainbow. So I'm going to pour pretty slowly. And then when I see that the water has hit all the Skittles, I'm going to stop. And it usually takes just a few seconds for it to get going. And it will eventually, the colors will start spreading or seeping towards each other. Now, if you leave these Skittles in the bowl for an hour, the color isn't going to be as pretty, okay? But for the first few minutes, it's really neat. You can see the rainbow really starting to come away from those Skittles. And eventually, it will meet in the middle and it makes a cool design. Now my daughter said, what if we put all the red on one side and all the orange together and all the yellow together? And I said, that would probably look pretty neat too. So again, you get to decide what pattern you really want to do. Okay, it doesn't matter the pattern, but it just shows how beautiful and some different ways to get some rainbows here with science. So just probably another minute or so, actually probably less than that, to get our rainbow to come together here. One side is starting to touch, and the side that still has the white portion is the last side that my water actually hit. So very cool experiment, very easy experiment. Again, one thing to remember is that the water needs to be warm. The warm water will help it spread a little bit faster, a little bit easier. Something to note, I would not eat these Skittles once the water has been put on them. Might not taste the exact same. So that is the science experiment with the Skittles. Pretty cool. And again, you may want to try different patterns with it. I think all the different patterns would be fairly pretty. All right, the last one that we have The last one we have is a rainbow walk. Not a color walk, but a rainbow walk. And we have 2 full glasses. What we're going to need is another paper towel. We're going to fold it in half and fold it in half again. Oops. And what I've learned with this experiment, I've done it before. I'm not going to cut the paper towel in half this time. I'm going to cut just a little bit off here. And I want the longer section, okay? That's pretty important. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take markers, and on each side, I am going to be coloring just a little rainbow, or little, not a rainbow, I apologize, a little rectangle. Oops. And I'm going to show you on each side. Try to make them about the same. Doesn't have to be perfect. But I'm going to choose colors like the rainbow. So red, then I have yellow, and I'm going to do green, and then I'm going to do blue. I know I didn't get all the colors in, but I have run out of space here. So with doing this on both sides, if we put our rainbow on both sides, the water is going to start coming up this way, the water is going to start coming up this way, and they're going to meet in the middle. So let's see how it does. Ooh. One thing to note is that the darker your rainbow was colored, the darker it will look on the paper towel. So it did, it met in the middle, and there is your rainbow. You might not be able to see it quite as well as I can, but it's pretty cool how it comes together in the middle. All right, let's check back on our first experiment, the color walk. I'm going to kind of do an overhead view here. It is dripping fairly quickly. I'm going to go get a spoon because I'm thinking that I might need to maybe stir up the colors that are combining. It looks like I have an assistant trying to help me here. So the first one that we're going to look at is the red and the blue. The hope is that it can make a purple. And when I stirred it, hopefully you can see, it did. It turned it purple. Sometimes in science, because these are dripping blue and dripping red, they're not really mixing together very well. So if we just help that process of mixing along, it might do a little bit better. So when we did blue and yellow, the hope is that it can make a green. So let's stir it. And it's fairly green. It kind of looks a little turquoise to me, which is a form of green, but this blue is fairly dark. If we allowed more time for yellow to keep dripping, it would look a little greener. So we have yellow and red. Yellow and red should make orange. Let's mix it together. And sure enough, it looks pretty orange. So there we have it. We were able to make a color walk with using food coloring, water, paper towels, and empty cups. The longer you let the paper towels drip, the better the new colors will continue to get. But for our time's sake, I had to do it fairly quickly. And if I leave it out overnight, it'll be pretty cool the next day. So hope all is well, and I will see you tomorrow.